Mm-mm.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Takedown Troupe, your weekly TNA Wrestling post-show breakdown. Tonight, we're fighting the internet, we're fighting the weather, and we're fighting my own nostrils as we are bringing this post-show breakdown to you live. I am Mikey. I am El Jefe of BC WrestlePod, and joining me this evening, of course, is the one and only Papa Oso. It has been we didn't get to spend a lot of time together this week because Wednesday was a whole travesty in whole self. But we are here tonight to bring you TNA wrestling. And you know what? I have to say, again, because the bar was in hell with the AMC debut. And so I was just like, tonight, well, the episode that we're going to cover tonight, the Thursday, January 29th edition, had some really fun stuff. I like seeing some new, fresh things happening that aren't the same. But I also have lots of questions, especially when we get to a certain feast or fire decision, because I'm like, okay. We're going to talk about all of that. So this is going to be fun. But before we get into all of that, really quickly, just to go through the opening spiel of it all, whether you've been rocking with us for the last 3.5 years, or if you're new, YouTube, Twitch, and Kick is where you can get your live stream fix for BC WrestlePod. And YouTube also has our edited reviews that go up the following day at 4 p.m. Pacific, so you can catch a more bite-sized version if you're looking for that. We are on the social medias at BC WrestlePod, where we do report cards and predictions and clips of our shows, which is a lot of fun. The algorithm loves our faces, apparently. So it's always a hoot and a holler to put those together because they're a great time. But we also have some merchandise available for you at our shop, bcwrestlepodshop.fourthwall.com. And last but certainly not least, we have a coffee bot that helps pay for the many many streaming services and everything that we have to watch all this wrestling we cover, as well as paying for pay-per-views. So every so often in Twitch and YouTube, the little coffee bot will be popping up with a link. So if you all feel free and so inclined to donate to the cause, you may do so, but no pressure because we know that times are tough right now. Alrighty, with all that intro bit out of the way, let's get into why we are here tonight, and that is to talk about TNA wrestling. Because TNA, you had some good stuff this episode. I also have many a questions that we're going to talk about, and I have some concerns and some gripes, especially when we get to certain subjects. But let's get into it, Papa Oso, because we kicked the show off with the System 2.0. So we get a promo from the new version of the system, which of course still has Edward Edwards over here as the new leader, and Brian Myers right by his side. But we have our two newest members in the form of newly signed to TNA Wrestling Bear Bronson, who I'm so excited that he is now officially signed to this company, and a now heel Cedric Alexander, which is some very interesting stuff. So, of course, Eddie is doing most of the talking in this promo. The crowd is booing them because they are very upset at what happened with Moose and everything that has gone down, and also them attacking JDC the week before after he retired. Eddie basically says that, well, Brian Myers says that it needed to be done. Eddie kind of goes after the fans a little bit, saying that you were cheering us, but Moose was the leader and he was the face, he was the franchise player, but he couldn't get it done. So Eddie had to do what he had to do. And I was just like, this Edward, this flip flopping every time we see you in TNA. I was just like, it is getting out of hand. But in the midst of this promo, Eddie gets interrupted by his own wife, question mark. Alicia comes out and she is not having it. She is upset, not only for Eddie keeping this, from her, but also she's not down for the cause right now. And she said, and she literally said this, her contract is coming up. So she doesn't know if she wants to be a part with Eddie in this new version of the system. Eddie gets a little mad and he talks about how you're going to put our business out there. And she's like, no, we're done. And she promptly leaves the ring. Here's what I think is going to happen, though. What I think is going to end up happening is that Alicia is going to team up with Moose for 2 weeks, and ultimately she will join her husband. That is probably where we're going. But hey, it's going to be a fun run with this. I am kind of glad that we've changed up and added some fresh faces to the system. Um, I do love Cedric, I really do, so I'm very interested to see where him being more of a heel is gonna go. And I mean, I'm biased, I love me some Bear Bronson because, hey, but also being one of those few wrestlers that have been following him from the independents, and now being here in TNA has warmed my little heart, so it's been really, really fun. Papa, also, what did you think of this new version of the system opening up her show and Alicia Edwards telling Eddie that she's done?
I didn't really understand the new members. I don't really get it. I mean, I've watched since Genesis. I don't get it. I don't understand the shift. I guess I missed something, obviously, because I mean, I can't imagine. I was just blown away when I saw Cedric Alexander was in the system. I was like, really? Okay, all right. I mean, I could see Bear Bronson doing it. Because he's new to the TNA family, and he's making his mark. This is a great way to make your mark. Join the faction that's hated and loved all at the same time. But I was just like, Cedric Alexander surprised me a little bit, honestly. Not that I have a problem with it, because I think it'll be cool. I think this system. I think I could get behind this system more than I could the original system. Because the funny thing about it is this system feels different. I wish they would change their name. I wish it would be like System 2.0 or some shit like that. I don't know. Or
Like the reboot or something
or
like
the
that?
the programmers or something. I don't know. The scrubbers or something. I think it'd be cool if they did like a hacker name or something like that if they want to keep going with the computer terminologies. But it has a different feel to it, and I'm kind of here for it. I was a little confused. Like I said, I was just a little confused on the makeup. But then when Alicia came out, I was like, I think we all kind of knew that this was gonna happen. That she was gonna separate herself from the group, and honestly and truly, what I would love is I really want Alicia to go out on her own. I want her to become a solo wrestler. I want her to get into the women's division. I want her to, because I think she's pretty good. And I think that, she's been around for a while. I think she could make her mark. And I think she needs to get out from under the shadow of the system. I think she
I
just
think,
literally,
yeah, have her be a part of the knockouts division as a singles,
yeah,
person for a little bit. And then whenever they want to put her back with Eddie, they can.
you
But
know,
especially right now, because we really, especially in the singles division, we kind of need it. But the knockouts division for the TNA Knockouts Championship is actually looking really good now, which we're going to talk about in a little bit with a certain someone getting cleared to wrestle again, which makes me so excited to talk about. Oh Lord. But yeah, the system is here. Alicia is not here. This makeup, I agree with you, Papa. Also, it does feel different, and I actually like this makeup because, of course, you have Eddie and Brian, who can be your tag team people. Cedric is still within the X division, so him and Leon are going to have some fun matches. And then Bear Bronson is basically your muscle, if you will, for all intents and purposes. So should be some fun with that. We're gonna see where this goes. I'm looking forward to it. We're gonna see a lot more of Eddie a little bit later because certain things happened, and yeah, we'll talk about that when we get there. But right now, let's talk about this match because I'm gonna be honest with you. I wasn't vibing with the fact that Nick Nemeth was gonna fight BDE. The match got set up last week, and I was like, I don't know how this goes. I'm gonna be. I will take back my words because I actually thought this was a really good match. I really liked this. I think Nick Nemeth has been wrestling for long. He's been wrestling for a while, and at this point, he is a vet of the sport. He's been wrestling for 20 plus years at this point across multiple companies. And BDE has less than 6 years of experience of wrestling, I believe, is what I read. But in this match, it didn't seem like he's only been wrestling for 6 years. I thought I was really entertained with this. I really liked the showing from BDE, and I actually really like that there are parts of this match where Nick was selling very well for BDE. And overall, I think this was just a really good back and forth between the two. And even though BDE would be on the losing end of this match with Nick Nemeth, picking up the win, I think this is a really, really good showcasing. And this is how you are showing, be like, hey, BDE is new to this roster. This is what he can do. And I'm excited to see more of BDE in TNA, to be completely honest with you. But Papa, also, what did you think of our first match of the evening?
It was all right. You saw the message I sent about Nick Nemeth. He's starting to look like a prettier version of Lexus King. Just the way he was acting in the ring reminded me of Lexus King.
No.
Yeah, it did. And I'm just like, ew, Nick, no, don't go that way. Next we're gonna have, drawn on beards and shit. We don't need all that. Let's stop. I think that I thought this was a pretty decent match. I think BDE is going to be a good fit for the company if they give him his shot and they don't just mid-card him the whole time. He needs, because he's a pretty decent wrestler. Mm-hmm. I think that if they gave him the right opportunities, I mean, he could take this cup. Honestly,
he really
Nick.
could.
I mean, it's just one of those, I just hope they give him the shot that he deserves. I do. And it's anytime new talent comes in that just sort of wows me a little bit. I literally am just like, God, please give him his time in the ring,
mm-hmm.
and not just be oh, look, we got another black guy. Woo, we're diverse. So yeah, that's my 2 cents. But it was a good match.
It really was. And again, we said this during the Genesis because it didn't happen. But like, if we're gonna watch Nick Nemeth try to cash in and Mike Santana be stomping him out every single time, it would be kind of hilarious to me.
Mm-hmm.
But I do, and I mean, with Nick Nemeth with this Call Your Shot trophy, like he can cash in at any time, so he doesn't really need to be hanging around the title picture scene too much because he has that opportunity. Now, when we get to the end, though, Franklin, I have some questions, and I'm a little bit worried because of how we ended the show. I was just like, what in the Avengers Endgame post-credit scene is this? So I didn't get a picture, but we're going to talk about it because I was like, oh, hell no. But
idiot.
What a really fun match between these two. Mm-hmm. Good showcasing for BDE, but also continuing to give Nick Nemeth some wins and some momentum, and, he'd be chilling right now. Why? I thought we were done, and all I gotta say is, if we're building towards No Surrender, which is the next TNA pay-per-view, I need Mara Sade to get a decisive win because this is getting out of hand right now.
Absolutely. This is twice now that he has slapped her down like this. And it's so, and Ryan Nemeth is getting on my absolute last damn nerve. Honestly. I'm just like, and here's my whole question. What's the point of this? Like, what is this building to? Because right now, I don't feel it building to anything other than we're slapping women to the floor.
I was like, listen, I'm here for like more intergender wrestling in TNA, but there's got to be some substance behind it. And, a friend of mine pointed this out to me very well, and I kind of have to agree with them. In the sense that, for this episode had a lot of good things in this episode for TNA that I really enjoyed. But it seems like every good thing that we get, there's always something that is they have to counteract it with something really bad. And this happens to be really, really,
really bad.
Here's the thing, right? On the one hand, you want to give Ryan Nemeth that heat because he is the heel and he's annoying and you want to hate him. So I was like, okay, you know what? A feud with Mara Sade, who's, seems to be really well liked by the audience and really well liked by the fans at home watching too, is really good. And honestly, on paper, this is a story that should work. In execution, however, has me like scratching my head. And all I'm saying is this is that I think whether it's at No Surrender or Sacrifice, and I really hope they don't drag it out for too long, Mara Sade, if I could see that ultimately they're gonna have Mara come out on top in this feud, but I was just like, this is getting out of hand because it was
This
funny
is
leading into Genesis with Mara super kicking Ryan every single week, like it's fun. But now this took a turn, and I was just like, oh god, we have to be dragging this out. I'm like, okay, Mar. The end goal needs to be Mara comes out on top because if she doesn't come out on top by the end of this feud, TNA, we're gonna have some questions.
this is bad optics. Because this is bad optics. Because it was when I saw it at Genesis, it was like, I mean, the crowd was just like, "What just happened?" And this is very much. I mean, it's just bad optics. It is super bad optics. This looks bad. Because it's one thing if you want Ryan to be the heel, the ultimate heel, that's fine. And there are plenty of ways to do it. But the reason this doesn't work for me is that she doesn't get any upper hand on him at all. It's like they come in, they do a little bit, and he slaps her down, basically. And it's like, she barely gets anything into it. Now, if it were more balanced, then I would be like, okay, cool. But this is not balanced at all. It is super unbalanced. So
It really is. And honestly, Erica, you bring a good point up too. Like Mara is that girl. You don't have to even go through this. She should be like, you cheated at Genesis, so now I want a rematch. And so that's how it should be. Like she should get a rematch. She should get a rematch at No Surrender. We don't have to go through the song and dance.
and I
Like, honestly.
agree, but I don't think this is about her. I think this is about him. This whole thing. I honestly don't think
Yeah,
it has anything to
unfortunately.
do with her.
Yeah.
So her challenging him
No.
will never happen because they're doing this for him for some reason. And it's
And
getting on
again,
my
it's to get
nerves.
in the heat, but I feel like, yeah, but there's different ways we can go about it. Like this is we talked about this too when we had Matt Cardona and Steph DeLander in that whole debacle too, because Steph was just like destroying people in the women in the knockouts division. And then when Matt came up, I was like, oh, I don't like this. So again, if the end goal needs to be Mara Sade coming out on top, but there were several different ways we could have went with this. I love you, TNA, but gosh darn it, you guys. Anyways, yeah, can't show it on screen because I'm not going to get demonetized. But Erica, I agree with you. Like, why are we still in 2026? Why are heels like putting hands on women's? This is like this. Like again, I'm here for equal rights, equal fights, but like, the optics is not great. Anywho, we move on from this unfortunate segment into something that makes me a little bit happier, though. Listen, as annoying as Mr. Elegance is, like just the over the top persona of this all, I am very, very happy that he is here because it's like this is kind of stupid, but he's my kind of stupid. But let's be real. The real reason we're all here is because the Iceman, the concierge for the Elegance brand, in this little segment, we find out that Ash by Elegance is cleared to wrestle again. And I'm like, yay! I was like, thank God, because we didn't know if she was going to be able to come back to the ring after she had to vacate the title. And it seemed like she, quote unquote, retired from in ring wrestling back in September at Victory Road. So
This
when
made me so
basically
happy.
when we got confirmed that Ash is able to come back in, I was like, yay! And honestly, I'm just gonna let this next picture be like this too, because I was like, yes, give me this match. I'm so excited.
Yep.
uh this is great, but no, honestly, this whole entire segment, I am excited to see that we are getting laying Lee a new challenger as well, while we still wait for Danny Luna to come back in all of this too with the visa issues. But more than anything, I am really happy that Ash is cleared and she is able to wrestle again because, yes, love it. Great. That is all I have to say. Oh, Ash, I love you. Listen, we
I'm
have a
very
special
excited.
place.
Sorry, my dog was eating something random. Sorry.
No, dog, don't eat things.
Yeah, I know. He's anyway. Yeah, no, I'm super excited. I sent you the thing in the group text about it. I was so excited. I was like, "Oh my god!" So, because I love me some Ash, and I'm so happy she's back. And I actually thought this whole segment with Mr. Elegance was hilarious. He cracking me up. You know, when I saw him at Genesis, he was making me laugh. I'm not gonna lie, and I'm so glad that they kind of have him sort of comic relief almost sort of,
Mhm.
so and I love the juxtaposition of it, how he's sort of the dumb blonde and they're not, it's like,
Yep.
I love that. I love that whole thing. So I loved it.
This is a fun segment. It's a feel good segment. We here at BC WrestlePod hold Ashton with a special place in our hearts because she is one of the first wrestler interviews that we got a chance to do when we started this whole thing. So she is fantastic. Can't wait for this match. This is great. So we move on from this segment and we officially, hang on, let me get it over here. Okay. Once again, we balance it out for something that is good. We get into something that is eh. And it makes it really hard for me too, because we both watch TNA and NXT. So, like, to watch the way that Ariana, specifically Ariana Grace, the way that she is being portrayed in TNA versus how she is in NXT, I'm like, it's really hard because there's such a disconnect between the two joint stories that we're telling. But we get Stacks. So we get NXT Stacks, who is currently holding our TNA International Championship. And he's taking on Hometown Man, who, God, it's so dumb, but I love Hometown Man shtick. It is great. And of course, Ariana Grace is by Stacks' side in this match. The match itself, I'm like, it was one of those matches, as we say here all the time. This was to serve a vehicle towards story development more than actually having, actually in good ring wrestling, which we're going to get into that in a little bit later. But of course, Ariana here in TNA, she loves Stacks. She's in love with this boy. I'm not even going to say he a man, he a boy. And yeah, I mean, Stacks cheats to win. Ariana doesn't see this. And you know what? She's just like, because Stacks says that he won without cheating, and Ariana chose to believe him. And at first, I was like, oh, girl, no, ma'am. But then later on, we would figure out, I was like, okay, at least we're kind of making her a little bit smart. But I was just like, as soon as I saw this placard, Papa, I already knew. I was just like, well, I know how this is going to go. Happy to see you here, hometown man, though, because visa issues are, still crazy out
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. But yeah, we all knew where it was going. We knew how it was going to be. This is just another showcase for Stacks to show that he's a bad boy, and cheating and blah blah blah. It was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. But you know what? I enjoyed it because I got to watch Hometown Man, and I freaking love Hometown Man. So I really didn't care who he was fighting at this point. I was like, "Yay, please more Hometown Man, please." I just
Hometown
love.
Diener, as we now know him
Yeah,
as.
I know, right? I freaking love him. I love how he completely rebranded himself. I think it's fantastic. And this character I love this character. I wish this character had shown up at TNA Genesis. I really do, because I would have loved to have seen him live, because this is just fun. It's just fun. And Stacks and don't even get me started. But I'm so over him and Ariana. I'm so over them because it's like we get that they're a real life couple. We get that. But my God, you do not have to bring that into this. Don't bring it to work. Because
No, well,
then
I
you have
mean,
to,
you're talking about bringing it to work, right? It's
yeah,
like,
because then you have to like exist.
yeah. So speaking of bringing things to work, right? So backstage, Ariana finds out that Stax cheated to win, and she's all upset. Santino is over here too. Stax is like, "But babe, what do you mean?" This is so dumb. This is our TNA International Champion. Now, granted, he's an NXT star, so I'm like, why is the Fed like? I we have to deal with it. So hopefully we can get this title off of it. But yes, so Ariana's very upset with Stax. We know y'all are in a relationship, and I don't want to. I don't want y'all to play this relationship like the actual Santino's actual daughter and Stax being an actual fun. The juxtaposition between this Ariana Grace and Stax relationship versus the NXT relationship of Ariana Grace and Stack are completely two opposite ends of the spectrum. And it's just like, it's killing me, man. It really is.
Because it's like over here, they have to exaggerate everything. Like they have to, that's why it's always so, oh, I'm so in love with you. And so it's like, which is just sickening. I'm sorry, but it's just gross. It's just gross.
And unfortunately, we still have to continue. I was just like, Santino, I love you, but let's not be a dumb. I was like, she gonna play in your face and she gonna betray you again. This is literally the old school like Stephanie McMahon storyline where she betrayed her father to get with Triple H. And I'm just like, girl, we've seen this story many and many a time before. Are we gonna still watch it? Yes, but I was just like, we gotta do better in terms of the execution of certain things because I was like, whatever. Anyways, let's leave this love story behind, which I'm like, ugh. And bitch, when I tell you Jason Hodge, I did not know, man. Jason Hodge, I did not know you are him. Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Lord have mercy. This match was really good, and I was just like, claps all around.
This was one of my favorite
Jason
nights
Hodge,
of the whole evening. This is so good
from both of them. But Jason Hodge, I was like, sir, I did not know you had that moveset in your stuff. I was like, and now I'm sitting here, I'm like, I'm kind of rooting for the Great Hands to become tag team champs now. I was like, if y'all bring this to every match,
but
I'm just saying.
You know what though? I would be okay with that. I would be absolutely like, yes, the Great Hands tag team champs, absolutely. But I will only get behind it if they leave this stupid ass faction. That's it for me. That's the only way I will get behind them is if they leave this stupid faction.
I would love to see it for them. But yeah, Elijah versus Jason Hodge was fantastic. I am happy to see Elijah be able to compete more regularly now that he's back from injury. Jason Hodge, though, is probably my favorite thing in this match. I'm trying to remember what the name of the spot. It's like the UFO top rope blue thunder bomb where he picked up Elijah in front and threw him down from the top rope. I was like, Jiminy H. Christmas. This is fantastic. Of course, Order 4 would be getting their shenanigans involved, but it still would not be enough to deter Elijah because Elijah does pick up the win over Jason Hodge. But honestly, this was one of my top 2 matches of the entire night. And again, the wrestling this episode was actually really solid and really good. And we're going to talk about more of that as we continue. But I was just like, wow, this match was really good. I was just like, no notes from these two. Fantastic match. Honestly, I need y'all to go watch this. This was actually really good.
It was really good.
Really good. We would continue the Order 4 shenanigans, however, though, because backstage, let me get there. I know. So backstage, we are first given, a little video of one of our newer knockout signees, Miss Jada Stone. Jada Snow is talking about how she's excited to be in TNA and to be signed here and what it means to her. And then Order 4 come over and, at first I was not here for this, right? Because I was just like, oh God, I was like, she just got here, you guys. What are we doing? And so Order 4 basically tells Jada that she needs to go because, Order 4 has some things to say. And Jada's like, no, I'm not gonna let y'all bully me off of my time. I'm here to do this promo, and you're gonna wait your turn. Which then I was like, I hate this. But then I began to like it because then Tasha comes in and slaps the taste out of Jada's mouth. I was like, thank you, Tasha, because now we're finally doing something with you. That has been my whole thing. Tasha Steeles is now doing some stuff. And I was just like, thank God, because homegirl, it's like, Tasha, I love you. The Boricua badass is slowly coming back for me. And I was like, I'm excited. I have missed Tasha Steeles. And so order 4 leaves away laughing. And then this happens, and I'm gonna be so for real, Papa. If Elijah came to me like this, I'd be like, take me away, take me with you. I was like, take me wherever you want.
This
But it
had
sets up a mixed tag team match for next week.
yeah, oh,
But yeah,
this
this
had
moment I
a
was like, take me with you, Elijah.
this had a Calgon take me away type of vibe to it. So I was like, okay, yeah. And I have to say
I was like, I'm
also,
here for
I
this.
I agree with you with Tasha Steeles finally becoming a part of, not a part of, I'm sorry, actually stepping out and being her own thing, because I was sick and tired of her being in the back row, their token black girl, which is what she was. And that was just bugging the crap out of me because she's so good. This is what just drives me insane, is when these factions have these female wrestlers in them, and the female wrestlers are just sort of like eye candy. They're just sort of there. And I'm like, first of all, Tasha Steeles could whoop Ali's ass. I mean, she could. And yet we have basically relegated her to the back row. And it's so annoying because, I mean, you know what I'm ready for? I'm ready for a full on, like, serious, like, all female faction with that one guy that they put in the back. It's like I'm so tired of it because Tasha Steeles, she's better than this. And it drives me insane to see her sort of diminished. So to see her do this, step up and be like, pop a bitch in the face, I was like, yes, we need more of that. We need more of her being physical and not just visual.
Exactly, which is very important. And honestly, this is a smart way too, because you continue Ali and Elijah's feud, but it also gets Tasha into the mix. And then you also get to see more of one of our newer knockouts to the TNA knockouts roster, and Jada being able to team up with Elijah next week too. So it's great all around. But yeah, if Elijah, this man, came up to me in the same fashion, I'm like, take me away with you. I was just like, damn, I know you've been gone, Elijah, but we've been hitting the gym because I was like, you can grate cheese on those abs. Damn. Damn. All right. So we continue on though, because I'm sorry. Listen, I love Elena Black. I really do, but this picture, I was just like, girl. I was like, this thing that she does with her fingers. I was just like, what in the hot topic is this? But no, I love Elena Black. Of course, me and Papa, we formerly know her as Miss Cora Jade, formerly in NXT, and then being released for a while now. She was wrestling on the independents again, took a little bit of a break, and now she signed a 1-year contract with TNA. So her contract is here for a year. And essentially this was a enhancement talent match, in which is the nice way of saying this was a squash match. Where Elena Black got to showcase what she can do. And of course, we had the suit, Miss Daria Ray, also on commentary, our second GM figure. I'm not going to say the word on here because we're going to get demonetized, but and you could probably attest to this, Papa, but like Daria's Titantron, like her video package, and then it has a figure of her standing up. I was just like, I might have minor dyslexia because like my brain just automatically wants to say be like, oh, she's the we can't say that because we're gonna get demonetized. I was just like, just rearrange the words a little bit and you know the letters and you know what I mean. I was just like, okay. I was like, this is fine. Um, I mean, this was a squash match. I am happy to see Elena Black back in wrestling because she did take a break for mental health reasons and she decided to sign for TNA for a year. So I am excited. I am hoping that it is not what we normally get from anytime we get new people in TNA, where mostly it's going to be squash matches, and then like, oh yeah, now we're going to give you a story. All of us, a lot of us have been watching
Yeah.
Elena Black, whether it's in NXT or the Independents for a while now. It's just like let's just throw her in a story. She don't need to be feuding for a title right now, but let's put her in a feud. Let's put her in something of substance.
Yeah. Which I mean, I can respect. I mean, I'd rather her come in and be involved in something like immediately, but not like, the one thing that irritates me the most is when they bring people in, new people, quote unquote, new people in, and all of a sudden they're vying for a championship. See, that bugs me. But if you bring them in and they walk in the building and they're like, oh, this is a fresh new start, and someone comes up to them, gets in their faces, and they're like, bitch, please. Okay, fine, let's take it into the ring. I'm here for that. Because then it puts her out there. Yeah, you and I we're very familiar with her, but so it was actually really nice to see her in the ring again. So, but yeah, I mean, we knew that this was going to be a squash match. We knew that, and it was just to get her back into, I think, into the swing of things, and I loved it. I actually loved it. I love watching her. I think she's a great wrestler. I agree with this random, I don't know what that is, but she needs to, that needs to, I don't know. I don't even know. But anyway, but yeah, I liked it. I liked it. I liked her being back in the ring because I think she's going to be fantastic. And I think she'll be great for the knockouts for sure.
I think so. No, for sure. And like we've been saying for the last couple of weeks, we really need to start getting more in our knockouts division with visa issues and people leaving and all that jazz. So Elena Black picks up the victory here in the squash match. This was a lot of fun. We move on because the feud continues as we already knew it was going to. The Hardys are backstage cutting a promo. The Righteous interrupt, and the Righteous tell the Hardys that they're not here to fight. They want to work together because the four of them can do amazing things. And the Hardys are like, yeah, okay, we'll think about it. I'm just like, okay. I mean, it's not the most inventive thing, but at least we're going to be continuing this feud. So I was just like, the Righteous need to win these titles at some point in this feud. I was just like, we at least after losing at Genesis, at least they didn't get thrown off and be like, okay, the Hardys and them are not going to fight for the titles again. I'm like, thank goodness TNA decided to continue storylines. I was just like, all right. So at least we're continuing this feud, which I'm okay with. Moving on. Because there's not really much to say about this. Now, there's a lot to say about this, though, because, girl, let me tell you. Alrighty. So, if we get the results of the Feast or Fired. So, last episode, we had the Feast or Fired match. For those of you who don't know, this is where there are 4 briefcases being hung up in the ring, and 3 of them have championship matches of different varying degrees, and one of them is the pink slip. So, somebody was getting fired by the end of this. So, to remind everyone, the 4 people that got a briefcase in the match last week included Trey Miguel, Eddie Edwards, Steve Macklin, and Eric Young. So we're just going to go through it all, right?
BS. I'm going to put it out there. BS.
This is where Papa is going to be. Oh. This is where he's going to get it crazy.
This was bullshit. I'm sorry, it was. I'll call it right now before you even get into it. This was such bullshit. The person that should have been. Oh my god. Oh. Anyway, okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay, so we're gonna start things off. So Trey Miguel opens up his briefcase. He gets an international championship match in the future. So
cool with that.
He's fine. Then Eddie Edwards gets a TNA World Championship match. So he will be crossing paths with Mike Santana at some point. So that's always fun.
Yep.
Hi, radio. Coming to you live from Captain Con in Rhode Island. I was just like, hello from Rhode Island. Love you, Will. We'll see you next week. Anyways, so Eddie gets this case, and I'm looking over like this picture sums it up perfectly. Eric Young and Steve McIntyre are looking at each other. They're like, well, damn. I was like, well, damn, something's about to go down. So I'm
just rip it off.
Yeah, there you go. There's go ahead, just let it all out. And welcome to the weekly rant of Papa Oso. So
this is such bullshit. I don't understand. First of all, Eric Young should have been the one that got fired. Absolutely, for sure, because everything that he's been doing up to this point has been just crap, honestly. Now, I don't know what this, I don't know if there's something behind this and Macklin's got another deal in the works. I don't know, but I think TNA needed Macklin more than they needed dipshit. And I really do, because Macklin, and maybe that's the thing, the idea that they're shifting and trying to change the faces of TNA to either a younger generation or whatever, and that's fine. This is not how you do it. This is not how you do it. Because, and I agree, radio, he's probably on his way to WWE. I agree with that. But this is not how you do it. I mean, unless he was very much like, yeah, let's do it this way so I can go out, But to me, I'm just like, no, Eric Young should have been the one that got fired. Flat out. He should have been the one that got released. And of course, but and I guess here's the upside to it, is that I know that Macklin will be fine. He'll land somewhere and he'll make it great. I guess if Eric Young had done this, he would have been in an old folks home by now, because ain't nobody want his ass. So that's the only positive I can take from it, is that I know that wherever Macklin lands, he's going to be amazing. And, unfortunately we get saggy ass Eric Young over here, and so just go away. Just go away. That's all that's all I'm saying. And just the minute that case opened, I was like, you son of a bitches. I was like, I knew it. I had that ugly, nasty feeling. I was like, oh, it's gonna be Macklin. It's gonna be Macklin, and I'm gonna be. I yelled when I watched it. I yelled. I was so mad. I'm still mad. Because
you have every right to be. And here's the thing, right? Okay, so on the one hand, just really quickly before I get into my thoughts, right? So before I get into my thoughts, it brings me no pleasure for Papa Oso to get mad, because we love professional wrestling and we get very passionate about it, right? At the same time, it makes some great content and we get to kind of go nuts like this, right? So doing it for the content. No, here's the thing, right? So this definitely bummed me out, because I feel like we still could have done things with Macklin. And there's a tiny part of me that is holding out hope that, Macklin got fired or whatnot, right? And I'm still trying to figure out, I was just like, I know his contract's I was like, his contract has always been the one in TNA in terms of like, I don't know, because most people, the news outlets, would be able to tell us, how many people's contracts are coming up, things like that. But Macklin has kind of kept tight-lipped on this one, right? But I'm just here and I'm just thinking to myself, I was just like, I'm still holding out hope that this is part of a storyline. Macklin got fired, he goes away, and we repackage him maybe as a heel, or maybe like Eric Young caused some problems and him and Eric can start fighting again. I don't know. But if this is truly it for Steve Macklin, I'm kind of bummed this is how he goes out. But, whether he goes to WWE or he joins his wife, Deonna Purrazzo, in AEW and Ring of Honor, wherever he is. But I am holding out hope that this is part of a storyline and Macklin is still going to be here. But at the same time, though, I did laugh at this. okay, but Trey, please don't let this happen twice in 1 month of him getting fired. I was just like, that did crack me up when
Agreed.
Trey
That
said
was
that.
funny. You know, I have to say, speaking of Trey, I was very happy that he was not fired. I love Trey Miguel. I love what he's capable of. I'm excited to see what he brings. Especially, I would absolutely love for him to take that title. I would love for him to take that international title, and I think he'd be
Be the
great.
one to take it off of Stacks, please. Take it off of Stacks
Yes,
and bring it back home to TNA.
please, God,
Yeah. Also, this is funny from radio too.
this is hilarious. Yeah,
Hear me out. Macklin rebrands himself as the rival Town Man. Him and
I
Hometown
love
Man
that.
fight. I'm gonna be so for real. That'd be kind of here for it.
Yeah, I
But
love that.
so yeah, so to kind of review, unfortunately, Macklin gets fired, but Trey gets a shot at the TNA International Championship. Eddie gets a TNA World Championship match, and I'm a little afraid for Mr. Leon Slater because he has to contend with Eric Young come after the X Division Championship. So it's like,
No,
nah. Anyways,
mm-mm.
so that was Feast or Fired. I'm holding out hope that this is part of a storyline and Macklin
Mm.
isn't actually fired. But like you said, Papa, if it truly is and his contract's up and he's done with TNA, he will be fine. He will land, very well wherever he decides to go to. But anyways, moving on. Speaking of which, Edward made it very clear and wasted no time to tell Mike Santana that their paths will cross soon well enough. And Mike's just like, bet, bring it. And I'm like, you go, Mike Santana. You do not show fear into this weirdo's face. So I was like, between Nick Nemeth and the trophy and then this briefcase, I was just like, Lord, Mike is going to have a busy, busy couple of months of fighting everybody. Oh, Lord. Here we go. So we move on, though. And we get a preview of what's coming up next week. Me. This is the preview of this upcoming week of TNA television. Of course, we get Elijah and Jada Stone taking on Tasha Steelz and Mustafa Ali in a mixed tag match, which is going to be really fun, I hope. The Righteous will be in action. And then we get a 6 knockout tag team match. So this is the Angel Warriors and Indy Hartwell taking on the Elegance brand. So all 3 members are in this match, which makes me super excited. Of course, this is Ash's first time back in the ring since vacating the title in September at Victory Road. And this should be really, really fun. Now, after we get our preview, we get into our main event. And goddamn, like, I actually really enjoyed this match too. I was just like, this was great. So this is a no holds barred match. AJ Francis taking on Rich Swann. Of course, this has been brewing. AJ beat Rich Swann at Genesis. And so Rich Swann wanted some vengeance and some payback. And hot damn, this match was actually really good too. They actually did some really good stuff.
No, this match
Truly
was
did.
off the hook. Off the hook. My God. The great thing about this match went to the very last second. Like it just was going. And I thought, oh, it could end here. Oh no, it's gonna keep going. Oh, okay. Oh, it could end here. Oh no, it's gonna keep going. And they just kept going. And I mean, it was just pinfall, near pinfall, near pinfall. I mean, one right after another. And I was like, oh my sweet Jesus. Just give this damn match to Rich Swann, please. I was just like, good Lord. It's one of those. Ugh. I was so glad that it turned out the way it did.
100%, right? I mean, Rich definitely was the right choice to win here. But I will say it was really fun to watch AJ get the "this is awesome" chance, also coincided with the "you sick fuck" chance. I was just like, loved it. And here's the thing, right? Now, AJ's character is, some people like it, some people don't. We have varying degrees of appreciation and disdain between our hosts here for AJ Francis. But as a wrestler, I feel that people very underrate AJ Francis and what his ability to wrestle too, because in his former life when he was wrestling for WWE, the only thing people continue to bring up to him is when his foot got caught up on the top rope, and instead he was going by the name of Top Dollar in WWE, and he forever became Flop Dollar because of that mistake. But it's been really fun that now he is here in TNA. I was just like, let's give AJ Francis his flowers, y'all, because I think he is very underrated as a wrestler, and he makes his opponents. He sells what his opponents are giving him very well, kind of like Nick Nemeth, and he's not afraid to win and lose matches, especially when it calls for it right here, like in this instance. So I'm giving AJ Francis his flowers because I feel like he's very underrated.
Okay. My thing about AJ Francis is I can't stand him.
And this is where I get ripped apart.
No, absolutely not. No, absolutely not. I just hate
I'm
AJ
just
Francis.
kidding.
I think he is. I just think he's. I think he's not a bad wrestler. I love watching him work in the ring. I really did because I saw him at TNA Genesis. It was great watching him. That match at TNA Genesis was actually pretty good. This match was way better, but the one at Genesis was pretty good. And it actually made me hate him less as a wrestler, made me hate him more as a character, which is good. But I just the money shtick, it just gets old. It just gets old. And I'm like, your posse is stupid. And that's what I get. I think it's what I need is I need an AJ Francis rebrand is what I need. I need something other than what he's doing because I don't know. This whole money, dollar, money, whatever the hell, I just can't. I just can't anymore. It just gets to that point whenever I even hear his
Time
music,
to
I'm just
give
like,
like a
ugh.
different dimension.
Yeah, I need something new. I need something different.
Yeah. Very, very fair. Very, very fair. So I also agree with you. I think, well, at this point, at least a new direction because, with Rich beating AJ here, and I don't know if they're going to wait until Casey is 100% cleared and then have AJ and Casey fight because uh, AJ also ousted Casey Navarro when he got injured too. So I don't know if we're going to run that back. But now that we're done with, it seems that Rich and Casey are no longer like part of this faction. Um, and they seem to be both going sort of change. So sorry, I'm looking at radio's comment right here. It's just like he needs to shift to crypto, or something instead of money, money, money.
Yeah, don't go to crypto because
Yeah.
then it makes me think of Crypto the Super Dog, and I can't associate those two. Please, thank you very much.
We love to see it. So Rich Swan picks up the win in this main event, and that is the end of our TNA post-show breakdown. Again, I had some questions, but you know what? TNA, this was a pretty solid episode. The wrestling was really, really good this episode. Storylines were hit and miss in terms of development and what we got, but you know what? I'm here for it, and I'm looking forward to coming back next Friday to talk about another episode of TNA. So before we get before we call it a night here at BC WrestlePod to kind of give you a little bit of an update. Well, at least a preview, I should say, not an update, because an update sounds like, guys, we're about to be canceled. No, I was kidding. No, but we are done for the week here at BC WrestlePod. Again, I apologize for not having an NXT or CMLL review on Wednesday this week, but real life got in the way, and as Papa Oso was made very much well aware after I talked to him, he's just like, damn, great things be happening, and they do. But we have a fun packed week coming to you live next week. Of course, we have everything as part of our regular schedule. Tuesday is our AEW post-show breakdown. Wednesday, NXT and CMLL will be back, and we will be talking about that. We'll be back once again on Friday to talk about TNA, but next Saturday, I will be here doing a live watch along of MLW's Battle Riot 8. I have been staying off the internet because people have already started spoiling the results, and we are not about to have that. So, But we got a fun week coming ahead to you live. And of course, you know, me and Papa Oso are everywhere on the internet at our socials on other projects we be involved in too. So you should go check us out because it's fantastic. But we got to get up on out of here. So thank you so much for tuning in to another Takedown Troupe post-show breakdown here for TNA Wrestling. From all of us here at BC WrestlePod to you, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, stay iconic, and more importantly than anything, you always deserve to finish your story. We will catch you next week for a plethora of other fun shows. But until then, sayonara, adios, and until next time, peace.